Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my Michelle. Happy birthday to you.
These films show a reality like ours, but not ours.
If I could turn the page.
This is our moment. We must not hesitate.
It's not safe here. You should leave.
In time I'd rearrange.
This isn't the man I want to be. I'd like to resign.
You don't get to resign.
Close my eyes.
A man is only as strong as the people around him, and for them, he must give everything. Or else everything he has done has been for nothing.
Tell me, sweet little lie.
My name is Juliana Crane. I need asylum.
Welcome to the Reich.
You know I need no charges to order your death.
I saw something. The city was destroyed by an atomic bomb.
You proved yourself capable. Think how proud your father will be.
We're done.
You had a dream of the past.
No, it didn't feel like a dream.
Most people are different, depending on whether they're hungry, safe, or scared.
What's up, everyone? Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having
So,
us.
all right, can we just talk about the Man in the High Castle theme song for like an hour, maybe? It's amazing.
Edelweiss.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that theme? It's haunting, it's creepy, it's like perfect.
Well, season 2, you get to hear the extended dance mix version.
Really?
Yep.
Which I actually do the rap section for.
Don't spoil it for
Yeah, I don't want to
anyone,
spoil it for anybody, but I drop
totally
a
a
few,
spoiler.
drop a few
Everyone.
beats. Yeah, I spit it for real.
What are, since that song is like so perfect for the show, what are some of your favorite TV theme songs?
$6 Million Man.
Oh, yeah?
$6 Million
that one's
Man.
great,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Amen. Amen to that.
X-Files.
Oh, all right.
Can you whistle it?
Can I whistle?
Yeah.
It? Oh, I can't whistle good. I've dealt with it all my life. So thank you for putting me on the spot. So the show, season 2, comes out tomorrow. What is it like? No, we were talking backstage, and you wrapped in September, right? So what's it like? Finally, it's going to be out there for the people.
It's relief. It's extreme fear. It's fear. It's so personal when you work on something for such a long time and you're so emotionally involved with it, and then suddenly you sort of have to let go, and then it's yours. And that's kind of a wild feeling. Yeah.
Now, are you guys going to binge watch it, or have you seen all the episodes already?
I feel like
I can't.
I've seen a lot of cuts, but I'm gonna have to binge watch it because my mother and my father are very insistent that I sit with them and watch the whole thing all the way through.
Is that true? You have to sit there with them?
Oh yeah,
while
they make me watch.
And then
it.
you're like sitting
And my
there like-
mom's talking at the TV because she's the worst person to take to the movie theater ever. She's like, oh my God, why are you doing this? No.
Oh, I love that you have to sit there with them the whole time. Oh,
Luke,
why are you not the man you want to be?
I know, right?
or just like criticizing you, like Luke, I'm not sure about that moment. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what you were
They'll tell
doing
it to me
there.
straight. They'll be like, that was the worst acting I've seen. You should.
Now, with Amazon shows, people can leave comments on like the episodes. Do you guys look at the comments at all when they're released?
No.
No?
You guys leave such nice comments.
No, I can't. I can't even fathom. I mean, the pain of seeing something horrific is just too. I can't even go there. No.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, it's lovely when people say nice things, but there's always the risk of seeing the one thing you shouldn't have looked at. You know, if you're looking at comments.
And then it just sticks with you.
And it sticks with you. So it's easier, I think, to not look.
It's kind of like that segment, what is it, Mean Tweets, where the celebrities go on and they read the mean tweets. You know, I find it kind of hilarious.
What is it like interacting with fans? And I imagine people probably recognize you all the time on the street because you look a lot like your characters.
Yeah, weirdly, not at all.
Kind
for
of.
me.
A little bit.
Oh, I don't get. Ever.
Ever?
No.
It happens, yeah, it happens here and there, you know. Yeah.
People are nice usually. Somebody actually ran up to me on the subway a little while ago and was saying that they just finished watching the season, and they're very sweet. It also depends on where you are. In New York or LA, I assume they're more industry towns, and people are used to seeing, you know, actors or people they've seen on a show or in a movie. But if you're in Muskogee, Oklahoma, and they see you, and people are like, why are you here? You know what I mean? You're just in a random place that are not expecting to see you. There's a little more of a disconnect for people.
Now,
imagine it's the same for you.
We're headed into season 2 now. Could you just kind of quickly go through kind of where we're leaving off with your character from last season and where their mindset is going into season 2? So, I mean, Alexa, what would you say for Juliana?
Oh God, how much time do we have? She's, as you saw in the trailer, she's asking for asylum from the Reich, which is obviously a desperate measure. She's wanted by the Kempeitai, she's wanted by the resistance. She has nowhere to go, and she makes that choice, which is obviously a life-changing decision, and then thus has to become a chameleon to survive that experience. It's not fun. It's hard.
Joe, I mean, at the end of season 1, well, all of season 1, Joe was kind of on this mission, and he was trying to accomplish this mission, and so he was very physical. I mean, he was doing a lot of action throughout season 1, and we left him at the very end, and we pick up with him in season 2. Everything's kind of settled, so all that adrenaline is there, and it's now transferred, and the mind is kicked in. So now he's on this kind of psychological journey through season 2, and really in opposition of the Reich now. You know, he comes home as a hero. He doesn't feel like a hero, and then you saw in the trailer he says, "This isn't the man I want to be," and he believes that. And so, but then he's thrust into a whole new world. He gets to meet his father for the first time, and his father is this very powerful man living in Berlin in the Reich, based upon Albert Speer, if you know, the architect of the Reich. And so, yeah, and he has to deal with what it means to be the son of this man, and also to deal with everything that he's done, and how the ideology is kind of influencing his life and what he truly believes in, and he's really trying to find his way.
Childen gets drawn into a world at the beginning of this season with Frank, where they've, at the end of last season, he's just sold a counterfeit piece to the Japanese couple, Paul and Betty,
right?
And which is a really risky thing to have done. And right at the beginning of this second season, Frank comes into Childen's shop, and I don't want to ruin it for him, but I don't know how much to say, but he draws him into a situation where they have to quickly make money and fight for their lives, and puts Childen in he's not a man of action, unlike Joe, you know. Childen's a lot more anxiety prone than Joe Blake, I think. And so he's in a lot of unfamiliar situations very quickly.
And Joel, what would you say?
At the end of season 1, there's this whole issue of the assassination of the Crown Prince, that attempt, and trying to pin it on somebody because Kito's covering up who really did it. So he has to sort of tie that up. And then this event happens at the beginning of season 1 where he begins to question why the Japanese have been ignoring the man in the high castle, and starts to think that maybe the films are a lot more important than the Japanese were led to believe. So how do you get to the Man in the High Castle? How do you figure out what the films are about? And how does maybe Juliana Crane factor into all of that? So all of that sort of starts pulling his attention.
Very cool. And speaking of Juliana Crane, so season 1 kind of opens with Alexa, you doing this Aikido. It reminds me of like Kramer from Seinfeld when he's just like beating up on the kids at karate
a good
class.
thing? I don't know if that's
It's just you do it so easily, and it's like anyone who comes at you. What was it like training with the Aikido?
It's fascinating. I knew nothing about it, and it's very much a moving meditation, which I didn't expect. It takes extreme focus. It doesn't work if you're not focused. You have no balance if you're not in your body. So it was kind of a magical thing to study for a while. Yeah.
You know, Aikido is something Morgan from Walking Dead uses when facing zombies and opponents. I mean, how do you think Juliana would do against some zombies?
Well, you just might find out. We don't know.
Season 2?
This is alternate reality. I mean, you don't know what you're in for.
Wow. Brennan, how did you prepare for the role? Were you watching a lot of Antiques Roadshow or?
Tons of it, just nonstop Antiques
Really?
Roadshow,
That's pretty much all
24/7.
your
Me
research, right,
with
Brent?
PBS, watching the Antiques Roadshow. No, I actually went to a couple of antique dealers in the city and watched them try to have deal with customers and the way that they sort of moved around their shop. Particularly the way they dealt with objects. I knew that objects were going to be really key for this character and his relationship to them. It's very key in the book. What's real and what isn't, what's authentic and what is not. It's a really key thing for the novel and for Philip K. Dick in general. His whole, a lot of his work is about that question. So the way that Chilton just wipes the table or, cleans a clock, it's a lot of him kind of doing things with instruments on his inventory. So I just watched some antiques dealers do that.
Now, have you taken everyone antiquing yet or anything?
Constantly. Just every day at the end of the wrap, I just say, come on in, here we go. And then we just go to flea markets. Flea markets? No, never. I've never, ever taken
I kind of wish we
anyone.
had done that.
Yeah.
No.
Seems like a skill now.
Well, yeah. I actually really, me personally, I like design and furniture. I made some furniture in the past, and I like, carpentry and architecture and that. So I've got some interest in that anyway, so it's not totally foreign to me, but the whole fetishization of objects and, if it's an authentic, and if... I also had a high school teacher who was massively into antiques, and he was a wonderful teacher, and you went to his home, and he was very much into Americana from the mid-19th century, I think. So it was, and I actually used a lot of him for Chilton as well, so...
Joel, great jacket, by the way. Fantastic jacket. We're talking about it backstage. Now, you guys apparently were giving him a hard time on his jacket, but it's a great
had
jacket.
no part in
I just
that.
think
I would like
it's
to
got a
say-
Star Trek vibe is all I'm trying to say. It's got a Star Trek thing.
Brendan just kept saying it's not an authentic antique.
Joel, are we going to find out more about Inspector Keto, his backstory in season 2? And by the way, Keto's one of my favorite characters because whenever he's on screen, you just know something's
Wait a
going to
second.
happen.
What about us? I'm messing with you.
I love you, but I mean, Keto has this mystery though. So, are we going to find out more about him in season 2?
Well, I hope so. You find out certain things. You find out where he's from and little sort of additional pieces to the puzzle. But hopefully, we'll be able to walk that line where you don't know everything about him. I mean, I think some of what makes him an appealing character is the degree of mystery that surrounds him. But I think you're going to find out more things than you knew about him last season, for sure.
And Luke, now I've seen you talk about kind of how difficult it can be to play Joe at times, because he is involved in kind of some of these terrible things and some of the stuff you have to shoot. What is it like, and how would you like people to perceive Joe?
I think first and foremost, to perceive him as a person like me and you, and to take away the label of him being a Nazi. Rufus Sewell talks about this all the time. It's just a uniform, It has nothing to do with the person. I mean, every one of these people has struggles in their lives, and they're fighting for something. They're fighting, and Joe is fighting for something. I mean, at times he seems selfish, but he's doing it to protect himself, and to protect the ones around him that he loves. And so I think, I think just to go to the root of human beings, and I think that's the most important thing for him. You know?
Now, the show does deal with a lot of very heavy themes. And even like post-election, people are making some comparisons. I want to know, what are your thoughts on comparisons like that, people making to the nowadays with the show, and also how do you feel that the show is relevant nowadays?
Look, I've got 6 eyes on me. I think it's relevant. Well, listen, I mean, you know, when Philip K. Dick wrote the book, you know, 1962, fascism and all the rest was obviously very prevalent then, and unfortunately, as human beings, we don't seem to move on. We don't seem to learn fast enough, and so history repeats itself. And so I think the show is relevant now. It's relevant, you know, it was relevant then, you know, topically, and I think sadly it will be indefinitely. We don't seem to figure it out fast enough. But I think also, you know, the idea of what if is something that I'm fascinated by. I think we all do it in our lives. What if I hadn't met him? What if I hadn't left the house then? What if I had been on that plane? All of those things. That's a human question. I think that's very, very, I don't know, intrinsically fascinating to us.
What are the conversations you want people to have after watching the show?
I think we would be very excited just for people to be having conversations. You are going to teach us what the show is about. I mean, you know, you asked earlier what it's been like to be sitting with the show for so long. I think there's a certain amount of relief, and it's the appropriate time for us to surrender the work that we did on the show and to bring it in front of an audience, which now I guess will be a worldwide audience as of yesterday.
Right, you're going
everywhere
worldwide.
but in China, I think, which is exciting. Because you're going to teach us what the show is about. We might have our own ideas. You know, there's a lot of people asking questions about the resonance of this alternate reality to the events of our own world today. I think what you take from the show and how you choose to talk about it between yourselves, between, you know, community members, whether it's online or with disagreeing family members over the holiday table, dinner table, these are the things that I think we're really anxious and interested to see, because you will define for us what this story is about. You will teach us, you know, what this story is.
I think in addition to that, for me personally, it isn't so much conversations that I want people to be engaged in conversations. I wanted to spark that for people. But it's, for me, I think it's more just an emotion that I want people to feel watching the show, privately or with others. But hopefully the show, I think what Philip K. Dick was saying, I mean, he was saying a lot, obviously, with this book and this story, and what we're trying to honor with the show. But it's a feeling that about your relationship to reality and your own history and what's real and what is not. I think all of us look at the world, particularly right now, particularly with the way things are currently playing out in this culture, and we think, is this real? This can't be real. Is this really happening? What happened to make this happen? How did this ever get to this place? And I think that what Philip K. Dick is saying with the book and what we're trying to say with the show is that if someone feels that way, you're not alone. We all feel that way. Many of us feel that way. And that there is something, and you're not alone in feeling that there has to be something deeper going on. And you're also not alone in that feeling like you have to fight for the threat of having human rights taken away, or having, you know, your individuality threatened is a universal. And I think the show is really a humanistic show. And it shows the value of human relationships and human dignity. And I think that people can hopefully, just privately, aside from conversations, get that sense of comfort from watching the show.
Definitely. And now something also pretty wild about the show is you guys ended on a huge moment. I would love to talk about that. So Takomi kind of meditates with Juliana's necklace that Frank made, right? And magically kind of winds up in a world where the Allied forces won the war, right? So can you kind of explain what happened in that moment?
Well, it's not a dream. It is, we have to remember that this is science fiction, that this is Philip K. Dick, and he explored, like Brennan was just saying, multiple realities and what that means, and so we are exploring alternate realities on a level that is that visceral, and certainly very surprising this season, I think. But this is Philip K. Dick, that's the core, and that's.
Now, the book, The Man in the High Castle, I don't think really goes into exactly what happens in the moment, because something similar happens in the book. But are we going to find out then in season 2 kind of more information about what happened?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And one problem I had when I was watching it is there's a hot dog stand in front of Takomi, and he doesn't even really bother with it.
I'll let them know. We should write a letter
this
about
comment
this.
again.
This is
Not the
the
hot dog
serious. Hey guys, this is serious. What's the hot dog problem? Talk about it.
If I could meditate and wind up in front of a hot dog stand, well, I'm going to buy a hot dog.
Do you feel? I mean, is this something about? Share more about this.
It's something I want to know from you guys, because if you could meditate and wind up in front of any food stand, any restaurant, where would you want to go?
A hot dog stand, clearly.
Really?
My God, yes, obviously. We're here for you with this hot dog. We want to help you with this thing about the hot dogs.
I'm just saying I would have bought a hot dog. But
Fair enough. That's fair.
That's season 4.
Season 4?
Season 4, yeah.
Okay, stay tuned, guys. And I think we're ready for some audience questions now, so let's open it up.
Hello, everyone. I
Hello.
just wanted to know realistically, if you were put into the alternate world, what role would you play as a human being, and would it be similar or different to your character?
Oh my goodness.
In
an alternate reality, you mean?
If you were in this reality of the High Castle,
Okay.
what kind of person would you be? Would you be, I don't want to say a Nazi, but would you be the good person or the bad person? Would you be a rebel or conform to society?
That's such a cool question, because I think that we all have an idea of who we would want to be in that situation. I think, like we think, well, if I were in Germany in the late 1930s and 1940s, I would have done this or I would have done that. And I think one of the things that our story points to is it's when you're actually in that situation, so many different things can act upon you, or you find yourself doing something that may be surprising, when you're, in fact, that you're in it. And that sometimes the people that are doing things that you find villainous may in fact have had more heroic intention for themselves before they ended up in that situation. And vice versa. Maybe the hero was the person that no one ever expected anything of, or expected very little of. I mean, in our reality, Albert Einstein was considered just a deficient student and had no contributions to make to the world around him, and then he grew up making, obviously, some of the biggest contributions ever in humankind. So I think so much of what the show talks about is what's the difference between thinking about something and then finding yourself in that situation?
Another right here.
Hi, guys. Thank you for coming. My question for you guys is, whenever you receive the script for a new episode, are you ever surprised at the choices that your characters make or the direction in which they're going?
No, not at all. What do you? Yes, always. Yeah, because I think we have a general sense of where we're going, and we certainly know who our characters are. I think on a level that's mildly disturbing in a lot of ways. But yeah, we're given material that is then to be embodied in a matter of days, and so yeah, absolutely, it's But it's kind of like life, like none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know where we're going to be, what we're going to do. And that's how we justify it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, I was wondering if you knew a lot about World War II, if you had to like go back and really research certain events that happened.
I'm giving you.
Yeah, for me, just what I was taught in school, really. Not too much in depth, but after getting this, I've kind of dove into a lot more of what the war was about and certain people in it, and it's really opened my mind historically, and that's the beautiful thing about being an actor. Sometimes we get to be consistent students, so it's been incredible.
And also, it's been about learning about World War II, but also the alternate version of World War II, because a lot of our show is based on a World War II that didn't take place. Things go sideways in our reality and have a different result. So it's been sort of deciding, well, did this happen or did that happen, or what's
right.
how.
But just for like what the Nazis were for me, because of that's my side of the
Whatever, the whole Nazi thing. We're in San Francisco, dude.
Yeah.
Guys, if you had to describe season 2 in one word, what would that word be for each of you?
Is hot dog one word or two?
Just gonna ask that.
Is a hot dog a
question.
sandwich? I don't know.
If you hyphenate it, I think it counts as one word, right?
Season
it's either
2.
that or this other
hot
word.
dog.
Hot dog.
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster?
Is that one word?
You know what, Brennan?
I'm just saying. I want to follow the rules.
If you hyphenate it, what do you think, Luke?
Discovery.
Explosions. With an S.
That's pretty good. Threat.
Threat.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Season 2 tomorrow. Check it out on Amazon. And thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here, too.